Alright, here is a quick video on using this SageMath Fern script. You'll want a SageMath cell, so if I click there, that opens up the SageMath cell. Then here, now I tell you to save it in something like Notepad or whatever. It may ask you, it may not. When I click on this, I notice it just opened in a new window, but it's a text file, so there really shouldn't be much, if any, hopefully nothing really in the way of fancy stuff. And so everything with the hashtags or pound signs are comments. So it says import Python's plotting library, so this is for the plot. Import a Python numerical package for some of the matrix work. Okay, so it's telling you what this next thing does. Define the four linear transformation matrices of the IFS, and then define the four shifts and so forth. So I know where to go to change things if I need to. Here's the initial polynomial. Now these are all the x coordinates of the points, the corners of the polynomial. These are the corresponding y coordinates. Okay, so that's good to know. Then down here, a lot of this stuff you don't necessarily need to really know right away, or maybe ever, depending on how much you care. So here I plot the original polynomial that I made, and so we can see that, and then and I can always get rid of some of these things simply by putting the hashtag or pound sign in front of it. Now here, this is where it loops through 6 iterations. Okay, so what I'm going to do is simply start at the top, highlight everything, do a Control C for a copy, go to my Sage cell, do a Control V for a paste, and if everything went right, I should just be able to evaluate. And if I come down here, so there's the original polygon I made of the fern, and there is the result of the 6 iterations, so I can kind of see what happened with that IFS. So the it made the copies and then made copies of those, right? And so I have there was a single polynomial, and so then there would be polynomial. There was a single polygon, and so after one iteration there would be 4. After 2 iterations there would be 16, and then 64, and so forth. So there are actually quite a few polygons all spread around in here. And if I work at it, I might be able to see, that there are 6 of each color, except, well, the blue's kind of hard to tell. But looking at this one, I see out here, there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, might be another one there. But they're, they get smaller, so it gets harder and harder to see. But anyway, there are my results, and then if I need this, well, that's a little big for a screenshot, but I could make it smaller, and now I just do a control print screen, and notice it did something. And then if I bring up another like a Word document, I can paste that in there and then crop it to make it look nice. Okay, so If I want more iterations, I can simply go here, loop through 6 iterations. Well, what if I wanted 10? I hit evaluate, and there we go, and it's still thinking. So right there I can still see it's still thinking. So it made the first one really fast, but when I start getting to 10 iterations, that's a lot of points it's got to work with, a lot of polygons. And so I don't know, maybe I need to sing a song or something like that. That would be a bad idea, but we'll give it a moment here to run. Hopefully it will. Now I could come up and say, oh, it ran out of memory, because this is a pretty big polygon to start with. Starting with just say the unit square is, that's many fewer points than what was it? How many points did I use here? So I started at 0, 0, ended at 0, 0 to make my polygon. So 0 and 0. But so I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11. 11 points to start with. So I'm starting with 11 times 4, 44 points after one iteration, and then multiply, by 4 again, and so forth. And so that extra 11 or extra 10 points to begin with is a multiplier, so it takes a lot more time. So we'll see. I think I've done this with this many iterations. I could be wrong, but it's still working. We'll see. Now, if at some point, you could go away and leave it and all that, but if it, oh, there, see it stopped. Let's see what it did. Nothing. So it ran out of time, I think. So let's try something smaller. We did 6. Let's try 8. We'll give it one more try at 8. See how it does. So again, it does that first one very quickly. Now, I'm surprised it just stopped. I thought it would tell me like it used too much memory or something like that. But it could be it truly just used too much time. Again, this is a cloud thing, and so if it's using a lot of time, that would be a problem. So anyway, you get the idea. We'll let it go here for a moment, and hopefully it will get there. Going back to the guided project, just to waste a little time, I suppose. Here are the directions, and you can go there, get those, go through it. They have the right up at the end, so it's still thinking. So it could be that it just starting with 11, it just is a little too much for it. So you can experiment. We'll cut our losses and just go ahead and stop this video at this point, and you can imagine how much better it looks with 8 iterations than 6. So I'll go ahead and finish.